Hello everyone, welcome back. It's NBZ back with some more Mario Maker 2, and today I'm going to be showing off a level that I made that is a very long, involved level that took me way too long to make, but I'm pretty happy with it, and I think it's unique and different, but it's also a little bit complicated, and people can find it a little bit frustrating and stuff like that, and there are some elements to it that can be a little bit annoying, but I just wanted to walk you through my process of making this level, playing this level, etc. So I feel like we maybe should just go into the make portion. So yeah, I'm going to do that. And what we're going to end up doing is just kind of go section by section and kind of walking you through the whole thing. Because it's easier for me to kind of like break it down if I do that. So we start off here. And the concept behind this level is that it uses the little mice guys. That's why the level's called of Mice and Mario. And every time you jump, they jump. So we start off the level with one of those like sections that is like, hey, kind of teaching you by proxy by when you jump up here, because you're forced to wall jump, you see that the mice jump at the same time. So that was kind of like the idea of like, hey, teach the player. And I also try to teach the player here, but this one's a bit harder to get across, right? So these little green guys, they'll follow Mario. So you notice the guy on the bottom, he'll just follow exactly where Mario goes. They have a certain range to them. So like the guy on the top, he's unaffected by me because I'm right down the bottom. But if I go up here, this guy suddenly notices me, and he starts following me. So you can see, like, I'm teaching you above and below, they can follow you. And I also kind of show you down below, if you walk him off the edge, he can fall in the lava. So that's kind of a section where people don't really pay attention. I've noticed that people just kind of run past here and don't even pay attention. It's kind of hard to teach that kind of idea, but I'm kind of building a bit of theming into it while trying to teach at the same time. Anyway, the main thing is you come over here and you see the mice, you jump, and you see that he jumps. It doesn't fully push the P-switch out, which means you kind of have to jump on top of it to get it. And then a lot of people get to this area and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. There's a block. I don't know what to do. But yeah, if you'd noticed before, you could see that this guy down below here will push the mouse off, and the mouse has a key, which I get. So that's kind of teaching you the base idea in a small area. Hey, if I move over here, this guy will follow me. I can get this guy to do stuff for me, right? And that's a lot of the concept of this level is this guy can do stuff for me. I want him to do a lot of stuff for me. So the next area then is a bit tricky. Let's hop into the make section. Down here we have three little guys who all jump. They have pals on top of their heads, and I had a hell of a time making this work because unless the pals are, you know, hovering on top of their heads, like if the power is up here above the cloud, what you'll notice is when Mario jumps, this guy can't actually push it. Like, he gets stuck. His friends are able to push the POW, but if the POW is sitting stationary on an object, it can't be pushed up. So a lot of my level designs in this part had to be kind of built around that concept. The idea that, yes, they can push P-switches and POW blocks up into spaces, but they can only do it if it's not sitting on another thing. If the power block is stationary on an object, then you can't really move it. So the point of the coins here is that when the person comes into the room, they'll immediately jump and get the coins. And as soon as you jump twice, you screw yourself, because the purpose is to get this little green guy across this bridge. So the idea is you jump twice, you screw yourself, you go over here and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I do this, bring him over, and then you go back over, and you try and bring him over, but you realize, oh no, what am I going to do? He's going to fall down the hole now. So that's why we have reset doors, so we reset. And so if you jump now, you'll see that they're in the perfect position to go across the bridge. However, jump one more time, and it goes out of sync. So you ruin the bridge if you jump more than once. Initially, I was finding a bit of trouble with this, because you have to go around here to get him into the hole, to like bait him. And my pipe originally was dropping Mario downwards, but I decided, well, I'm going to have to do it sideways, because if Mario jumps back up into the pipe, it screws up the bridge. So that's kind of the concept there. So the first thing you want to do is to jump directly into here. That's one jump which activates the bridge, and then you can bait him around, and now he can safely cross the bridge. I think this is probably the puzzle that I like the most in the level. It's the one I'm probably the proudest of making. I think it's really clever, and it works. It's pretty good. This part is a little bit finicky. So before this part, I already taught you that you can push the little mice guys with the green guys. Now I'm teaching you, hey, you can push the big mice guys as well. Like, it's not just the little guys this guy can push, he can push the biggie guys. And you also realize that when you push this guy over here, you can also jump him, and he now acts as a way that you can get up to that high area, because there are spikes here, so if you try and wall jump, you're not going to be able to. So you have to bait him out, and then at the top of your jump, actually make it up there, which I didn't make it up there, but hey. So basically, when you do that, you make him up to go up there, and you reach up to this area. So once you do that, you're able to turn the on-off switch off, and that lets you go across this part unimpeded. So what I notice is that it takes people a while to figure that area out. It takes people a while, and they find it sometimes a little bit tedious because they have to keep going back and forward and blah, blah, blah. Which, you know, that's kind of the point of a puzzle level, like it can be a bit tedious. And so this area here is kind of interesting, because what a lot of people will do, and I deliberately designed it this way, is there's a question mark block over here. So what is the first thing you're going to do when you walk into this room? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to be like, oh man, question mark block, let's run over here, which triggers the ice spikes at the top of the room, thus hitting all the power blocks, thus killing the way that you're going to get the P-switch out of here. You can actually go up here, which I didn't realize in playtesting, that you can actually get into this area as Mario. But the thing is that you can't actually do anything when you get here, because, as we've mentioned before, when a P-switch or a power block is on a hard surface, not even Mario can move it from where it's supposed to be. So you kind of get stuck down here, and you kind of soft lock, but you can kill yourself. So that's perfectly okay. The idea is to be careful, right? So you come into this room, and you want to activate him without activating the icicles, then come up here and get him to follow across. This also teaches you that icicles can only be activated from below and not from above. And then you kind of just stand on here, so the P-switch gets boinged up, you get that. Now, in an ideal world, I would probably have put a checkpoint around here, because this is the kind of point in the game where people get a bit confused, and they don't really know what to do. And it is this is probably the most tricky part of the level, because it relies on the enemy AI, and enemy AI is just whack, and just doesn't really do what you want it to do. So let's reset it here. So the notion is that this big guy is going to follow you. I made the pipes especially long for him and short for you, so that even if you get a slight delay on him, you're still beating him to the pipe. Here's the hard part. Baiting this guy to go into this pipe requires you to really wait until pretty much the last second for him to follow you. So often I've seen people play this level, and they get to this part, and they go down the pipe, and it takes them all the way around here, and they wait, and he doesn't follow them. And then they go back up, and he's all out of whack, and he's in a different place, and then he's pinging back and forward and just not doing what you want, which is annoying. Like, it's one of those things that I've designed around it to some degree, but it's still difficult because I don't have control of the AI and how it works, right? I want to instrument this idea, I want to put it into practice, but it's hard to put it into practice where it's very difficult to execute. So you basically have to wait until the last second, get him to follow you. And I'm quite good at it because I've practiced at it. Often also people exit the pipe and get killed by him as he's exiting the pipe. He has to come over here, because if you came down here without him, you would notice that there's a big block that you can't actually do anything with. So he is your key to victory. You go up here and then do your ground pound into the next area. And so here is where the first checkpoint is. This area here, which is cool. So the notion is you get the coins, you jump up. As you've seen this before, you know what to do here. You push him onto the P, and then you escape down this way. So that was one of the earlier sections I designed, and I'm not quite sure whether I should have kept it there or not, because it is, I don't know, it seems maybe a bit tedious when you're redoing it each time, but because this is a part that people often take the longest on. This is the longest part of the level, which takes a lot of retries and things like that. So we've got 3 pipes. The top pipe leads to an area with an on-off switch. So we have an on-off switch. Down below here we have a P-switch. The way that on-off switches work is weird, because if you get to this room without dying and you continue, basically you don't continue from the checkpoint. If you get to this room without dying, having set the on-off switch previously, what will happen is that you'll get up here and the switch will be off, so you have to turn it on so that the P goes over to the icicles. If, however, you start from the checkpoint, for whatever reason, the game decides that all the on-off switches are set to on automatically. So it's all automatically set to on, so you only have to come up here the first time if you somehow manage to get through everything without dying, etc. So you don't, after the checkpoint, this step is actually kind of unnecessary, so it's only these 2 pipes you need to worry about. Let's go down to this pipe to kind of have a look. I had to redesign these pipes quite a bit just because baiting this green guy to go down the pipe properly was a hell of a thing. And it's actually a lot easier in this iteration. Like, these pipes here, it's much easier to get him to follow you than it is in the previous pipe I showed you. But lots of elements happening here. We have the green guy. The purpose here, and my intended purpose, but people get confused about what you need to do. Purpose is you need to bring the green guy down. He will push this mouse all the way over to this area. The mouse is holding a key, which is for the key door that is at the start of the place. You kill the mouse by dropping him down that hole, by activating the P switch, going over here, drop the mouse down the hole, keep the green guy alive, carefully move the green guy across here, using the P switch to get him entry. The green guy lands on the springs, becomes a spring for you, and you can finally access this question mark block here. Sometimes if you are able to kill both the green guy and the mouse, there's not really a way to kill yourself. So I made this spike guy here so you can kill yourself and not soft lock it, because if you soft lock it and start over, then, well, you're shit out of luck because you lose your checkpoint. So that's why I have to have this guy here so you can kill yourself in case you mess up. So let's run back and let's put it all into action now that I've told you what it's all about and how it works. There's actually a couple of ways to get the green guy. The first and most obvious way is what we did before, which is to just go up here and to get him to follow you, which is like, hello, I'm here, look, wave at me, come over here, and then wait until the very end. You can actually go a bit earlier here, but I find it can be a bit tricky. So you can do that. Alternatively, a way that someone I was watching did it, which I think is actually pretty smart, is you can be down here, and you can be like, he still sees you here, and because you're slightly ahead of him, you'll bait him into the pipe, so you can go in the pipe at the same time as he is going in up there, and he'll warp out slightly ahead of you. So you need to be... Oh, I accidentally went all the way back in there. You need to be a little bit careful. But yeah, that's the kind of base idea. Come on, green guy. Come over here. Let's go. So yeah, it is pretty tricky to get him to follow you, but I think this way is a bit more consistent. The only problem is that he pops right out here and then falls on you. So you really need to just run the hell straight out there if you want to get him from that perspective. I feel like it's still a little bit safer to go up here and do this, to bait him out, to be like, hello, hi, it's me, follow me, down the hole. Okay. And then we basically need to get on the other side of him and go through this pipe here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So you want him to come all the way over here, follow right... Oh, that was a little bit early. Man. Okay, well, you know what? For the purposes of the video, I think it's easier to just pop him here. So I'm just going to pop him here for now. So imagine you get him here. No, don't go down that... He doesn't want to listen, does he? Let's pop him here. Okay. Hello. Here we go. So the idea is he'll follow you, he'll drop down, and now you can commence the pushing. So this is a tricky part because you've got to manage a lot of different things. I've seen people push the mouse all the way to the blocks that you can't push him through, which then results in the spring guy getting murdered, which is not good because you need the spring guy. The best way I'd found is to just leave the mouse on there, bait the green guy away because you still need him alive, then quickly run across, activate the P switch, the mouse dies, and you get the coin, the key, sorry, and now you just wait until the timer goes out, and then you bait him across slowly, making sure to not activate the icicles, because if you activate them over there, he's going to fall. So you can get him all the way safely, and then P switch it over to get him to come over to this area, where he will then provide a spring for you, and you can then get the key that you need to go through that door. However, there is also a secret key that I built into the level, which you can access by going down here and going all the way under the lava, under other parts of the level, which I thought was quite fun. And this takes you to an arena, a fight arena, where these two will battle it out, the bully and the green guy. You kind of have to jump to activate the bully, otherwise he won't find you. And then you can push him off with the green guy, get a second key, which we can use at the end of the level for a big surprise of fun. So yeah, so that was the thing I wanted to do to reward people who figured that out. And then you can just get back up here and then run back. Oh no, he's still here. Well, that was my fault for putting him there. He shouldn't actually. In the actual level, he won't be there because he won't respawn there. We just did that for the purposes of getting through it. So we put down the power block, go through this door, and that was really the worst of it. I think that's probably the trickiest puzzle in the entire level. It's very involved. It takes a lot of steps to figure out, and it's just a lot of stuff going on. So this part I found really fun. This is actually one of the first concepts I came up with, which was having the blinky blocks and having a dude carrying something that has to be jumped up all the way. So we have this guy. He's got a POW. We need to time it exactly with the block so that he lands and can lift the block up. So the POW then gets onto the elevator, which then gets sprung in the air, and you can see the thwomp over there. There's a couple of ways this can go. Sometimes it happens like that, and it accidentally pushes the thwomp up this way, which is a bit weird. But most of the time what happens is that it should instead... Ooh. We'll get there. Let's see if we can get it to work this time. The POW will go like that, land on top of the thwomp, who will then slide it off, and then it will ping up to this area with the door. Now, Bally actually told me that there's a way to cheese this and get through this door just by standing here, which I didn't really think about, but apparently you can just do that. So I think it's because he soft-locked it. For some reason, the POW didn't appear, but you're supposed to use the POW. So I guess that's an oversight. Hey, there's a way to speedrun the level if you want to speedrun it. So this is a fun contraption I came up with. We've got a bunch of pipes, and we've got this area. And this guy will only follow you depending on what side you're on. So if you want to bait him, you have to go back and forth up here, and then slowly up the tower as well, and bait him towards you. Is it? Come on, little doggy. Come on, doggy. I had to really mess with the height of these pipes because of wall jump potential. There was the potential if I didn't have enough spikes or if I didn't have enough wall space that people would wall jump and completely bypass this entire area, which wouldn't be good because the entire point of it was so that you can use this guy to spring yourself all the way up. So yeah, that was a fun little concept that I came up with. It took a long time to come up with a lot of these, but this was one of the things I posted to Twitter, which is this idea I had where you've got these mice guys and you have to take all of them all the way to the top with an item bouncing on their head. So it's similar to what we did in the first room of this area, but on a bit of a grander scale. And obviously for all these rooms I've put reset doors in to make it much quicker. I did run out of reset doors at some point, so you know there was kind of a limitation on how many of these I could do. But anyway, we are getting close here. God's sake. See, it is tricky. You just need to get the timing down. Once you have the timing, you're pretty good, but alright, well that's how you do it. And then the last guy, will basically take the P to the top and it will roll across there, wherein you will now get it, and you can use it to unlock this area and go down the pipe. And that is the end of the level, and we have a nice little heart, because it really was a tale of these two fellows, the little mice guy and the little spring guy, and it was their adventure. And they fall in love at the end, clearly. It's a narrative, you see. It's a very good narrative. Anyway, I also hung on to the secret key, which means I can go in the secret door. And it's just a fun place with lots of coins. Woo! Yeah. So that was my secret key, secret door. Just feels good to get a bunch of coins in a bouncy castle room. I like that feeling. It's fun. So yeah, that was kind of the last thing that I put in the level. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. This level was, it took a long time. As I said, it was about, 12 hours or so. And that was all the way through, concepting ideas to designing to laying it out, figuring out what works, what doesn't, getting a correct order of the rooms, because there was a completely different order of the rooms before, figuring out the pacing, everything. yeah, it's a big old level. It's an ambitious level, and it has a lot of stuff in it, but I think it is one of the best things I've made. It is also kind of somewhat tedious at points. It can be, especially this section, like this entire section with the pipes, and just I think it's because a lot of people have trouble learning, like just learning exactly the way in which that you can bait this guy out, the timing for getting him to follow you. A lot of that stuff is what the people have found trickiest, I think. But I think from a conceptual level, like, I really like it. I really like what I did here with the springs and with the mice and everything, and just kind of combining them and being like, because like this whole thing started with me looking at these enemies and being like, oh hey, they jump at the same time as you do. I wonder if I can do something with that. And then I like looked at these enemies and I realized, oh wait, these guys can push other enemies, like, and they also follow you. Like, that seems like a cool thing. So I basically took those two ideas, concepted them together, kind of came up with a semi decent ramp in difficulty, and made a level, and hopefully people like it. I don't know, it's definitely a big one, definitely complicated, but yeah, I need to take a break from making long levels now and make some shorter ones. I already made another short one, which is a lot of fun, which I'll probably show off in another video. But hey, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time with some more Mario Maker, and I guess if you want to play the level, I should probably go back to Course World here, and I can show you the code, but I'll probably post it in the description as well on my Maker profile, and you can check it out. But it's called Of Mice and Mario. There's the code. See if you can beat the world record of 3 minutes 51 by Jim AJK. And yeah, give it a go. See how you fare with it. I mean, I've already just spoiled the entire thing for you, so you'll probably make it through a lot easier than people playing it first time. But hey, that's it. All right, thanks, folks. Bye.